Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. So glad you joined us from the Hercules Tire Studios. Not only yours truly, but Ashley Strummy. How are you?
I am fabulous. It's great to be back in Charlotte. And of course, always good to be back in the studio. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last time for the year, though.
Yes. Well, we're almost the last time for the year for
I know,
everything.
for everything, right?
That's
Oh
the
my sad
gosh,
part.
that is cool. Ashley, I'm going to go a little off the sprint car reservation because one of our buddies, I was coming back from Martinsville the other night, and I see where one of our buddies, Cruz Pedregon, won the NHRA funny car race. Cruz walked in here one time and just
slapped his Wally down.
Slapped his Wally right down. The Wally is the trophy. Okay, the Wally is the trophy. He'd won the day before at Charlotte. He's a huge Wing Nation fan.
Yes.
And he said, how's that? Can we have that on the set?
Absolutely.
We love, yes, yeah, when you want to bring an NHRA trophy, we love Cruz Pedregon. And it's
Yes.
just, man, I don't know that anybody scratches and claws more than he does to get where we was
It's
at.
true. It's been a long road for
Yes, it
Cruz,
has.
so it's awesome to see the success that he's having and knowing that his little tight-knit team is the little engine that could, if you will.
Yes, could and did this
Yes.
past weekend out in Las Vegas. And speaking of drag racing, we're going to take this into the sprint car world because we're going to talk to Gary Scelzi today on the program, one of our favorite people.
He is. The whole family,
Yeah.
honestly. Great people, just an awesome part of our sport. It'll be neat to catch up with Gary and what he has going on.
Catch up with Gary. Gary's had a little bit of a health scare with a stroke, but he's doing well,
Doing great.
and we will talk with him here on Wing Nation today. Before we get to that, though, it was the Texas Outlaw Championship. It was the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Ayrton Geniton. I always go Ayrton Senna. Okay, Ayrton Geniton leading. Carson Macedo second, not for long. Here comes Logan Schuchart in that Dryden car. Here's Johnny Gibson with the call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Macedo to the inside of Ayrton Geniton. Can he make the move for the lead? He can. And now Logan Schuchart around Macedo for second. Logan Schuchart up to second now and stalking leader Ayrton Geniton. Schuchart started eighth and now makes the move for the lead out of turn number 4. Logan Schuchart the leader on lap 24.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Def, the official def of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride, passion,
performance.
we are
Team Dryden.
Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit continues on. Let's go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us via the Zoom line from out in California is our buddy Gary Scelzi. Hello, Gary. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. We are doing fantastic. Gary, first and foremost, just I know you've been through a little battle here with a health scare. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I see you. Looks like you're in the office. Looks like you're back at it again.
I am. I'm trying to go back to work a couple days, a couple hours a day, but that turns into 4 to 5 hours a day, and I get tired easy. But I'm back at work, trying to make a living, trying to buy sprint car motors, things like that. So, got to do what you got to do.
You can't keep a good man down,
That's right.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And it probably doesn't hurt that you got Dominic there beside you, helping to try to wheel that place around as well.
No, I got to tell you, the kid has definitely stepped up to the plate. He's going above and beyond the call of duty. He's doing a hell of a job. I've given him every crappy job that you could possibly have, from cleaning restrooms to stacking steel to washing trucks, doing everything. And then when he broke his hip at Skagit a couple years ago, he learned purchasing. He's learned a lot of different things, learned how to build dump trucks, him and his brother. And he's really taken the bull by the horns and done a good job around here. And hopefully here in another 6 months, I'm not going to be here every day. I'll be here once a week to get my check and go the hell out of here.
There you go.
If I say so.
Gary, your company is Scelzi Enterprises, and it sounds so simple. You design and build bodies for work trucks, but this thing has grown into quite a project that you and your brother started years ago.
Yeah, we've been in business 42 years. Manufacture utility bodies, flatbeds, dump trucks, water trucks, anything for the construction industry. And we do custom stuff. We've got large, major construction companies that are all over the whole United States. It's turned into a monster. We've got 450 employees. We have a place in Fresno, California. That's the mothership. We have a place in Riverside, and we have a place in LaSalle, Colorado, and soon to have a place in Tacoma, Washington.
It's so cool when you hear those stories that start out just as a small mom and pop deal that grow
Yeah,
to be so
great
incredible
story.
like this. And speaking of that, Gary, your two sons, Dominic and Gio, obviously famous sprint car racers, but I also want to talk about your racing. Obviously, you're a drag racer, and as a father, you know, it seems like in the racing industry, there's two types of dads. There's either the dad that wants their kids to go race or the dads that want their kids to go play golf. Are you at all disappointed that they didn't choose to go drag racing, or are you happy with the fact that they're both racing sprint cars?
Not in the least. I was very fortunate that I only worked for a couple of teams, won 4 world championships, won a lot of things, did things that'll maybe some of those records will never be broken. That and $20 will get you lunch. I used to say $10, but now it's 20. I just want them to be happy. And when they were kids, I liked racing. I felt driving cars would make them learn car control. And if they wanted to drag race, I could teach them how to drag race. If they want to race sprint cars, go-karts, Indy cars, whatever they want to do, that can be taught. It's whatever they wanted to do. I never really forced it. But I enjoy racing. So when the kids are racing, I was staying home. I had Dominic on my iPad and I had Gio on Dirt Vision. I mean, or Flow. I have to watch, and I make every lap with both boys.
It's amazing. It really truly is. Gary, a 3-time NHRA top fuel champ, a
4.
1-time.
Don't you cheat me out of a championship. 4.
4.
He earned
Well, I
those, Steve. Come
have
on.
I have the funny car one too. So I had 3. Was it
3
3?
top fuel, 1 funny car.
Okay, I got it. 3 top fuel and 1 funny car. I got you covered. You're a 4-timer, that's for sure.
Remember, I had the stroke, you didn't.
Yeah. Oh no, we're all good on that. We're all good on. Where did the connection though, Gary, between a drag racer and how were the boys introduced, or how were you guys introduced to sprint car racing? Is it a California thing, or is it through connections that you had?
Well, you know, at that time they only had junior drags, and now J.R. Todd and several guys race junior drags went right to top fuel. But my kids, I wanted to learn car control because I felt some of the bigger names didn't have car control. They were driving big cars. And as long as everything's right, you can get a 300-mile-an-hour dragster or funny car down to the finish line if you've got the ball. I wanted them to learn what happens when it smokes tires, how to control it, what happens if the motor's nosing over, things like that, because you get yourself in trouble. Don't have to mention any names. People know who they are that got in trouble. So when Dominic was little, I put him in a go-kart because his grandmother lived in a small town called Kerman, and he raced kids' kart. But when he moved up to the 80-mile-an-hour go-kart, the first race he went and hit the hay bales, tangled with a couple other go-karts, and my wife said, that's it. Roll cage and seatbelt or no cars at all. Well, the junior dragster thing had a Briggs & Stratton motor, didn't smoke the tires, didn't catch on fire, didn't do wheelies, didn't do all these types of things. But the junior sprint thing was done in Visalia and Lemoore, which is 30 miles apart from both of our places. So that's why we went junior sprint racing, and that's how that all went. So I felt, again, learning that type of thing was better for them to learn car control. Drag racing would come easy to teach, I felt. Plus, I was best friends with Daniel Lasowski, who sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Tony Stewart was involved with him. Met Donnie Schatz, Jason Sides, Steve Kinzer, all those guys that I absolutely love and adore. My kids loved and adored. So they kept going from junior sprint to micro sprint, sprint car, and here we are.
Such a neat deal, that is for sure. Hey, we need to step away. Stay with us. Coming back more with Gary Scelzi.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey.
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy. Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. We are having a ball talking with our buddy Gary Scelzi on the Hercules Tire Hotline. And Gary, when we look at your boys individually here, let's talk a little bit about Dominic and his sprint car racing. He went out, he traveled the Midwest, he did a whole bunch of racing, but as the business, which we talked about, him taking a role in the business kind of took place, you brought him back, he's in California racing, you hired a guy by the name of Jimmy Carr, and we are, 21 wins in the 2021 season? I'd say the boy has flourished pretty well in the sprint car world.
Yeah, they've done a hell of a job together. This year more so than ever. Jimmy really knows what Dominic wants, and Dominic knows that Jimmy knows what to do. And it was very similar to what it was when Giovanni and Bernie were together. You know, Bernie can tell him, hey, you go wide open in that corner, and it'll make the corner. And Dominic feels the same way. And Dominic just tells Jimmy, hey, it's a little snug here, it's on the right rear, it's on whatever. And Jimmy just knows what to do. So they've been very good. I really wish that they could go to the Midwest and run more now, more all-star stuff, more outlaw stuff. Everybody knows Dominic wants to win an outlaw race. I think now's the time for him to do it. Unfortunately, when the Outlaws were here, they struggled. They had engine problems. They had a couple of different things, and they're not perfect every night. But I think now is the best time. Dom's more comfortable and more comfortable with Jimmy, and they're just clicking. It's a good thing, and I like seeing it. It makes me comfortable when they're comfortable.
It's so cool, Gary, the kind of the relationship that you have made with that Scelzi family. I mean, Dominic is Gio's biggest cheerleader and vice versa. And it's so cool because Gio, has really set the sprint car world on fire, being the youngest to ever start the Knoxville Nationals. Those little momentum things that keep rolling. Like Dominic was the one who was putting him on that pedestal the whole time. That brotherly love is so incredible that you guys have created.
Well, like I told my wife, I said, if we've done nothing else right, those two have turned out that I'm very proud. I mean, not only do they love each other and support each other, but they're like glue. They're best friends. And that's, I really miss seeing my kid, Gio. I don't hardly talk to him. He talks to everybody I know more than me. And I'll call him and ask him how his fingers are doing. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I heard they're broken because you can't dial a phone. Call your father. So we make jokes about that. But when Gio does come home for a week or so, he's at Dominic. He's with a baby. He's with Dominic doing whatever. And then, of course, Dominic's got an excuse. Hey, Gio's in town. We're going to lunch. And that's a 2-hour lunch. But it's all good. It's a good thing. And like I said, I can't wait for this winter, hoping that Gio comes home for a couple months so he can actually work in the business and we can stay a tight family. I mean, that's how I was raised. I think there's a lot of lack of that in the world these days. And I'm lucky and proud that we have that.
As you should be. That's for sure. Gio, of course, 2021 with the KCP Racing Team, has a 410 win at Knoxville, 360 wins, including the 360 Nationals. I can't imagine what Dirt Vision was like the last few laps of Lakeside a few weeks ago, Gary, as he wheeled by the madman. I bet you that made you feel good.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I saw the little situation with Madsen at the beginning, it pissed me off. And evidently it pissed Gio off, too, because I told him anger won that race. It wasn't great setup. And he drove that thing for all it was worth, and he came out the winner, and I thought that was a great thing.
Neat stuff, that's for sure.
So cool. And Gary, you mentioned it, that baby. How's it feel to be a grandpa? What's it like? Are you adjusting well? Are you giving it everything it wants that, Dominic says otherwise about?
I can tell you that I can make that little baby cry anytime I want. She can be cooing and happy and making noise and Googling, and Grandpa get a hold of her, and about 30 seconds later, she's pissed. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I have a feeling when she gets older and Grandpa buying her little presents, they're going to fix that problem.
Pretty simple to figure out, that's for sure. Gary, one of the other things, and we've had some fun with you over the course of this year, the farm. And I know you've probably had to slow down on that just a little bit, but I think it's a rock. How's the farm? I don't even know how to ask. How's the farm?
Well, let me just say I've been spraying some pre-emergent to keep the weeds down and things like that. And I've got a lot of farmer friends out here that try to guide me, and they want to know how the crops look. And I said, I've got the best rocks in town. I don't think it's paying much a ton, but I've got some really nice ones. So I bought a new well, not a new one, but I bought a new John Deere tractor, 100 horsepower one. Not new, but new to me. And it's got air conditioning, it's got a stereo, and I turn on my country music. My cell phone doesn't work, and I go out there and I disc and I spray, and I have a great time. And it's good therapy for me. And I knock a fence down occasionally, or a tree or a bush. So, it's not without comics. I can assure you that. And my wife, it's on a mountain too. We're kind of in the foothills, and I got to go up to the very top and turn around and come back. And she goes, I just know you're going to turn and roll that thing down the hill, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But I told her, whatever I do, it'll be spectacular. I promise.
So you talked about running into fences and that kind of thing. Is this where that car control came into over those drag racers?
Yeah, I didn't mention tractor control because, that disc hangs out there a good 12, 14 feet. And when you go to turn, that thing swings pretty good. Found that out. And then my spray rig has arms that come down. And if you're not paying attention, looking back and looking forward, you'll catch that in a fence, knock the head off, and you're spraying fertilizer everywhere else too. So I'm sure there's more things that I'm going to do and learn that I shouldn't do. But right now I've done a good job of screwing things up.
Well, there you have it. At least you've done a good job, that's for sure. Beyond the rocks, is there actually a crop or something that you are planning on doing here once you get it all sorted out?
Oh, I don't know. Once I get Dominic a little bit more secure here, and if I get Gio ever here, which I don't know when that'll ever be, probably not for a long time, I may plant some orange trees and do some oranges or something like that. Something to keep me busy, but that's only 26 acres, so it's not a lot, but it'd be enough to get me in trouble, I'm sure. So maybe I got to figure out how to graft grapes onto an orange tree. That'd be something new. I'll have to come up with something.
But truly, Gary, I mean, how much is it kind of just a stress reliever to get out there and just roll those rocks around?
Well, it is. I mean, I never thought I would enjoy driving tractor as much as I do, but it's kind of cool. It's neat having 26 acres with no weeds on it. It's, there's a lot of granite where I'm at, and so there's boulders and rocks, and I get in and out of the tractor. So it's good exercise. I mean, it's good therapy. It really is. And you're away from everybody and away from this thing. That thing's a problem. So, and I don't have much of a signal out there, so that works good.
Gary, we appreciate the time. We love you to death, you and your family, and we appreciate the time. We're glad you're doing well. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's always a pleasure and always a stress relief. So I appreciate it as much as you appreciate me.
There we go. Gary Scelzi joining us here. Stay with us. Our Tweet Your Seat, Tweet of the Week, and a lap around the sprint car world are coming up.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We're back. You're watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, and it is time for the Tweet Your Seat Tweet of the Week, and it comes from our sprint car racer, Scotty Thiel. I absolutely love this. His son wanted to be a top wing, so he put his favorite drivers out there. David Gravel and Logan Schuchart.
Wait a minute. That's not right.
God love him. So awesome. Alyssa, his wife, she whipped it up. It looks incredible. I mean, it looks absolutely mint. But I'm not sure Scotty was really excited about it because he said the wife came in clutch with the crafty skills and dad just isn't good enough to make the cut. Maybe next year, Scotty.
There we go. Absolutely. So I love it. I love our sprint car family. Scotty Thiel had a really good year. 43 races around. He jumped around. He used to be just strictly pretty much IRA. He jumped around a lot this year. Got out, got some speed. Won 4 times, though, on the IRA series this year. So fun stuff. Good to see it. Love the family pictures. Really do. Hey, let's take a lap around the sprint car world. Turn number 1. We mentioned this earlier. We didn't get into too many details when it was our Dry Dean move of the week. Logan Schuchart, the Texas Outlaw Nationals at Devil's Bowl. This is the place where the World of Outlaws began. Bobby Allen was one of the all-time original World of Outlaw drivers. Ashley, he raced to 30 career All-Star wins, and Saturday night was special for the family.
Yes, because Logan Schuchart tied that 30-win list. He's the 28-year-old grandson of Bobby. We've had both of them on the show this year. 30 career wins. It doesn't seem like he's been racing that long at all to have that many wins, but he ties his grandfather now, and they're tied for 20th on the all-time World of Outlaw win list and 7th World of Outlaw win here in 2021. So
Logan is rolling.
he sure is.
Really is. Turn number 2, ASCS. We talk a lot about the Lucas Oil ASCS Tour. The Hahn family, Emmett, Fuzzy, Donna, Steve, and Tommy. The family, Emmett, co-founder of the Chili Bowl. In 1992, Emmett founded the ASCS Tour. This thing has grown to nearly 200 races a year, but the last 6 months have been a little tough. First and foremost, Emmett is 80 plus years old, okay? And his wife, Fuzzy, 63 years married, passed away. And Emmett made the decision and last week announced he sold ASCS to Terry Maddox, who's 26 years old.
Yes, the series director of the Sooner region for the last 10 years, head of scheduling for the national tour for 4 years, the National Open Wheel 600 Micros, as well as co-owner of Oil Capital Racing Series. So I have a feeling it's in pretty good hands.
I know Terry just a little bit. The ASCS is in really good hands with Terry Maddox. Let's go down the back straightaway into turn number 3 because this weekend we're going to crown another champion. First off, we're going to talk about the NARC King of the West Series, but to celebrate the 2021 season, we kind of need to look back. COVID clobbered California. And this tour, they only had 4 races last year, but this year they were back 20 races strong, and the season finale is this Saturday night at the Stockton Dirt Track.
Yeah, and we've talked about him a lot already. Dominic Scelzi, 6 series wins. He just needs to show up to claim his first championship with the series.
Fun stuff, that's for sure. That's turn number 3. Let's head it into turn number 4. The Sprints on Dirt was founded in 1980, racing in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. So it was their 41st season of racing. It was new ownership this year. The folks that also run the Butler Battlegrounds, they had 9 races on the schedule. They're trying to rebuild the tour. The champion was Max Stambaugh of Ohio.
Yes, and it's cool because you'll be chatting with him this off season. We have Max will be on the Dryden Salute to Championships that we're doing this off season. So you can check that out on wingnation.com as well as our social media channels. You'll get to chat with all the champions.
Great champion chatting with the champions. Easy for me to say for the Sprints on Dirt. And there you have it, our lap around the sprint car world. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
I'm not ready yet. Come on. All right, I'm ready now.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
I just okay. I just stopped by to pick up my sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
Yeah, okay.
This is what it looks like when you do it.
Ta-da!
Take a deep breath, count to 5. It's like running across a rhythm section at a motocross track.
Mine was perfect.
Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Continuing on, and Ashley, you kind of referenced it at the top. Your last visit to the Hercules Tire Studios this year, and our next to last show, because this weekend is World Finals at Charlotte. Where in the wide world of sports did this go to?
It's true. You know, I feel like Volusia, we get so excited. The season has finally started. We're back in it, and now here we are, 6, 7, 8 months later, and it's the end. I mean, all good things have to come to an end.
Right. We rolled into Port Royal for our live show. Then we went up and did the Jackson-Houston, and we're going to Knoxville. And I'll tell you what, and this is in my NASCAR life and this life, since about that 1st of August, I am telling you, this year has just gone crazy.
Well, and not only that, it's good to be back.
No doubt.
You know, last year we were so plagued with COVID, and I'm tired of hearing about it, but thankfully the world, in our world, I should say, is back to normal with sprint car racing being full and hearty.
And back to normal for the World of Outlaws means another championship for Brad Sweet.
Unreal.
You know, rolling into the gates at the dirt track this weekend. He will, if you're watching this on Saturday, he will have clinched it. 3-time champion, KKR. Impressive stuff, that's for sure. We really appreciate Gary Scelzi for joining us. We always love chatting with him. Makes our day better, that's for sure. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.